Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils a series of development projects in Puducherry, lays foundation stone of 56 kilometers long four-laning of NH45A. A slew of development works will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister in Tamil Nadu this evening. Union Home Minister Amit Shah says Assam and Northeast will be the biggest GDP contributor in coming days. Centre disputes high-level multidisciplinary teams to look for the reason behind the spike in COVID-19 cases. Director Generals of Military Operations of India and Pakistan review the situation along the line of control. Two sides agree to abide with all agreements, understandings and cease firing along the LOC and all other sectors. Terror financing watchdog FATF to take a call on Pakistan's grey list status today. Siliguri-Dhaka train service to start on Independence Day of Bangladesh. Delhi government decides not to hold offline exams up to Class 8 students. International Olympic Committee names Australia as the preferred bidder to host the 2032 Olympic Games. And in cricket, India to resume their innings at overnight score of 99 for 3 against England at Ahmedabad Test today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured that the central government will provide all possible support for the development of Puducherry. He was speaking after unveiling and laying the foundation stone for several welfare projects to the value of 3,023 crore rupees in Puducherry today. The Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for four-laning of NH45A, which is of 56 kilometers from Sattanathapuram, Karaikal, package of Villipuram to Nagapattinam project covering Karaikal at a cost of 2,426 crore rupees. The Prime Minister said,
"It would make you happy that the foundation stone to four-lane the National Highway 45A is being laid. This is a 56-kilometer Sattanathapuram, Nagapattinam, the stretch covering Karaikal district. Certainly, connectivity will improve, economic activity will peak speed. At the same time, it will improve access to the holy Saniswaran temple. It will also provide easy interstate connectivity to the Basilica of our Lady of Good Health and Nagor Dargah."
Under the Sagarmala scheme, the Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for developing a minor port in Puducherry at a cost of 44 crore rupees. The project will give connectivity to Chennai and facilitate cargo movement for industries in Puducherry. While inaugurating a blood centre at JIPMER, the Prime Minister said,
"One sector that will play a key role in the coming years is healthcare. Nations that invest in healthcare will shine. I am inaugurating the blood center in Jipmore. This project will cost about 28 crore rupees. This new facility will accommodate advanced facilities for long-term storage of blood, stem cell banking. The facility will function as a research laboratory and a training center for personal training in all aspects of transfusion."
The Prime Minister also inaugurated 400-meter synthetic athlete track. He said,
"In the last 7 years, India has made many efforts to improve fitness and wellness. I am delighted to lay the foundation stone for 400 meters synthetic athlete track at the sport complex here. This is a part of the Khelo India scheme. It will nurture sporting talent among the youth of India. Sport teaches us teamwork, ethics, and above all, it teaches us sportsman spirit. With the coming of good sport facilities to Puducherry, youth from this state can excel in national and global sports meets. The 100-bed girls hostel constructed at Lospet inaugurated today.
Puducherry Lieutenant Governor Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan and Minister of State for Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises Arjun Ram Meghwal were also present at the function. More from our Puducherry correspondent.
While delivering keynote address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the Government of India is doing many efforts to improve rural and port connectivity. The agricultural sector will gain from this. Across India, farmers are innovative and it's our duty to ensure that the producers get good markets. The laying of a 4-lane road generate good job opportunities for local youth. Mr. Modi further said that prosperity is closely associated to health. In the last 7 years, India has made efforts to improve fitness and values. The Khelo India scheme will nurture sporting talent among the youths of India. Chandra Mohan, Air News, Puducherry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also inaugurate and lay foundation stone for several development projects in Tamil Nadu today. Prime Minister in his tweet today said that he will be leaving for Puducherry and Tamil Nadu to inaugurate development works that will further ease of living and economic growth. More from our correspondent.
Tamil Nadu Governor Banwarilal Purohit, Chief Minister Edappadi Palanichami and state's top officials and dignitaries are in Coimbatore to render a warm welcome to Prime Minister who is expected to arrive in a short while at Coimbatore. Elaborate arrangements have been made in view of his visit. A local holiday has been declared and tight security arrangements are in place in and around the city. COVID tests have been taken to ensure proper health safety of those who will attend the program at Kodisia and also to all the security personnel. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of multiple infrastructure projects worth over 12,400 crore rupees. He will also dedicate the completed projects for the nation today. Joy, AR News, Coimbatore.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asked officials to pay special attention to the quality of roads being constructed under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Mr. Modi chaired the 36th meeting of Pragati, the ICT-based multimodal platform for proactive governance and timely implementation yesterday. Prime Minister reviewed the program for elimination of single-use plastic as well as grievances related to Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Mr. Modi impressed upon the need to involve people, especially youth, through a proper awareness campaign. In the meeting, 10 agenda items were taken up for review, including 8 projects grievance relating to one scheme and one program. During the meeting, the Prime Minister expressed his concerns in delays being observed in execution of some of the projects and directed the officials concerned that all pending issues should be resolved in a timely bound manner and wherever possible in mission mode. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has stressed that Assam should be made free from flood, violence and infiltration. He was speaking after attending a religious function at Maha Mrityunjoy Temple at Baharampur in Nagaon district today. Mr. Shah said that Assam is on the right path of all-round development. The Home Minister said that once Assam was known for violence and protests, but now the state is known for good works. Mr. Shah emphasized to make Assam and Northeast the biggest GDP contributor in coming days. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, Health Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma and other dignitaries accompanied him. Mr. Shah will also inaugurate development schemes and address a public rally at Batadrawa Than at Nagaon district. Later in the day, the Home Minister will attend a surrender ceremony of militant groups and also address a public rally at Difu in Karbi Anglong district.
BJP National President JP Nadda today launched the party's campaign for Lokho Sonar Bangla manifesto in Kolkata. He said that the party will seek suggestions from over 2 crore people in West Bengal for its election manifesto ahead of the assembly polls. Mr. Nadda said that about 30,000 suggestion boxes will be placed across the state to reach out to citizens. He said that people can also respond through missed calls and record their suggestions on WhatsApp or website.
लाखों सुनार बांग्ला को हमने अगर याद करना है तो हमको बंगाल की संस्कृति जो हम सुनते रहे कि व्हाट बंगाल थिंक्स टुडे इंडिया थिंक्स टुमारो, ये जो इसका गौरवमय इतिहास रहा है जिसमें स्वामी विवेकानंद जी, रविंद्रनाथ ठाकुर जी, बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी जी, नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस, श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी, ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर, इन सब लोगों का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन रहा है, उस कंट्रीब्यूशन को समावेश करते हुए सोनार बांग्ला कैसे बनाया जा सकता है, इस बात का प्रयास हम करने का काम कर रहे हैं.
The Centre is to issue guidelines and digital media ethics code for over-the-top OTT online streaming and social media platforms today. We take you live to the Minister's address.
और राज्यसभा की एक एडहॉक कमेटी की रिपोर्ट है on 3rd February 2020, जहां पर pornography on social media, effect on children, hate content on social media, इसको लेकर चिंता प्रकट की गई थी. Therefore, court orders, parliamentary proceedings, I only mention of Supreme Court, there are many orders of the High Courts as well to take action in this. हमारी मिनिस्ट्री ने व्यापक कंसल्टेशन किया. We prepared a draft on 24th of December 2018, where we received 171 comments. We put those comments in public domain, and we had 80 counter comments too.
In its guidelines for intermediaries and digital media ethics code rules 2021, framed largely under Section 87 of the Information Technology Act 2000, the Information and Broadcasting Ministry, along with the IT Ministry, have laid down a 3-tier framework in order to address the issue of sensitive content over these platforms. We have more from our correspondent.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has time and again emphasized for the need of guidelines for OTT and other such online platforms. The requirement of such guidelines has become necessary in the light of the growing outreach of platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, among others, most of which have multinational presence. The very fact that with growing accessibility of high-speed internet in the country, these platforms are only poised to increase their footprint even further, thereby making it imperative for the government to devise a specifically laid down self-regulatory mechanism in order to avoid misuse of this strong and swift medium. Mr. Javadekar had also highlighted in the recently concluded first part of the budget session of the Parliament that the ministry has been continuously receiving a bulk of complaints against number of programs and content available on these platforms. The guidelines, which will be jointly administered by the Information and Broadcasting Ministry and the IT Ministry, aims at resolving such complaints and bringing uniformity in the governing rules for content authorization. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
More than 1,26,71,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered to the beneficiaries in the country so far. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today informed that a total of 5,03,947 doses of vaccines have been given to the healthcare and frontline workers in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate stands at 97.20%, with recovery of more than 11,799 patients within 24 hours. The ministry said more than 1,07,38,000 patients have already recovered from this disease, and there are 1,51,708 active cases in the country, which comprises 1.37% of the total positive cases.
7 states have witnessed an upsurge in daily new cases of COVID-19. These states are Maharashtra, Kerala, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and Chhattisgarh. Union Health Ministry said Maharashtra continues to report the highest daily new cases at 8,807. It is followed by Kerala with over 4,000, while Punjab reported 558 new cases. The centre has deputed high-level multidisciplinary teams to Kerala, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to ascertain reasons for the upsurge and coordinate with state health departments in COVID-19 control and containment measures. In Madhya Pradesh, COVID positivity rate has gone up to 2.2%. The number of active cases in the state touched 2,270 yesterday. More from our correspondent.
Madhya Pradesh has been witnessing a rise in the COVID-19 caseload over the past few days. While 344 new cases of corona have cropped up in the state, 223 patients have recovered. As many as 139 new cases have come up in Indore and 70 in Bhopal. Positivity rate in Indore is 6.6% and Bhopal is 4.5%. With 2 patients succumbing to the infection, the death toll increased to 3,857. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan issued instructions that special precautions should be taken in Indore, Bhopal, Baitul, Jabalpur, Chhindwara due to increase in corona cases in these districts. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Maharashtra, various measures have been taken by the district authorities to contain the spread of coronavirus, like imposing Janta curfew, suspending classroom education of class 5th to 9th, besides collecting fines from the violators who do not wear a mask at public places. We have more from our Mumbai correspondent.
Commissioner of Maharashtra Food and Drug Administration Abhimanyu Kale said that there are 51,425 vials of remdesivir injection, 20,15,381 tablets of favipiravir and 1.97 lakh vials of remdesivir injections available for supply at the Mylan lab in Nagpur. The commissioner said stock of medical oxygen is also available in adequate quantity and it has been supplied to COVID dedicated hospitals and other hospitals in the state. Till now, more than 10,80,000 healthcare and frontline workers have taken the jabs of COVID vaccine in Maharashtra. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Delhi government has decided not to hold offline exams for students till class 8. Delhi Directorate of Education has issued guidelines in regards to the assessments for students of classes 3 to 8. There is no directive for class 9 and 11. As per the guidelines, there will be no offline examination for students of classes 3 to 8. The assessment will be done on the basis of worksheets and assignments. The guidelines also shared assessment criteria for students of nursery to class 2.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils a series of development projects in Puducherry. Lays foundation stone of 56 kilometers lane, long 4-laning of NH 45A. A slew of development works will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister in Tamil Nadu this evening. Union Home Minister Amit Shah says Assam and Northeast will be the biggest GDP contributor in coming days. Centre deputes high-level multidisciplinary teams to look for the reason behind the spike in COVID-19 cases. Director Generals of Military Operations of India and Pakistan review the situation along the line of control. Two sides agreed to abide with all agreements, understandings and cease firing along the LOC and all other sectors. Terror financing watchdog FATF to take a call on Pakistan's grey list status today. Siliguri-Dhaka train service to start on Independence Day of Bangladesh. Delhi government decides not to hold offline exams up to class 8 students. International Olympic Committee names Australia as the preferred bidder to host the 2032 Olympic Games. And in cricket, India to resume the innings at overnight score of 99 for 3 against England at Ahmedabad Test today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
As we know, we are taking the center is issuing guidelines and digital media ethics code for OTT online streaming. We take you live to Prakash Javadekar.
डिजिटल मीडिया पोर्टल को कोई बंधन नहीं है. यहां टीवी के लोग हैं, उनको केबल नेटवर्क एक्ट में जो प्रोग्राम कोड है वो उनको फॉलो करना पड़ता है. लेकिन ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म्स को ऐसा कोई नियम नहीं है और इसलिए सरकार ने ये समझा कि लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड होना चाहिए. All media platforms must have the same justice system. और इसलिए डिजिटल हो, प्रिंटिंग हो, टीवी हो, ओटीटी हो, कुछ नियमों का पालन करना पड़ेगा, कुछ प्रोसेस सेट करना पड़ेगा. और लोगों की मांग भी बहुत थी. लोगों की मांग रोज सैकड़ों पत्र मंत्रालय में आते हैं.
Moving on with the bulletin, another passenger train service is all set to roll out on 26th of March between India and Bangladesh with an aim to strengthen the friendly relations between the two countries. After a 2-day-long meeting of the railway officials of India and Bangladesh, Katihar Divisional Railway Manager Ravinder Verma stated that the new train will connect New Jalpaiguri of West Bengal and Dhaka cantonment in Bangladesh. DRM Paksi Shahidul Islam from Bangladesh and DRM Sialda Shailender Singh were present in the meeting. Additional Divisional Railway Manager Katihar Division V.K. Chaudhary told AIR News that all arrangements have been completed for the train services between Dhaka and New Jalpaiguri.
ट्रेन सर्विस बिटवीन न्यू जलपाईगुड़ी और ढाका बांग्लादेश इंडिया के बीच में 26 ऑफ द मार्च चलने की संभावना है. टोटल डिस्टेंस न्यू जलपाईगुड़ी और ढाका के बीच में 513 किलोमीटर है, जो सफर 12 घंटे के दरमियान पूरा किया जा सकता है. और जिसमें कोच की कंपोजिशन है 3 एडीसी है, 1 सेकेंड एसी है और 3 जनरल है. फ्रॉम न्यू जलपाईगुड़ी से 17 बजे आने की 5 बजे शाम में खुलेगी और ढाका कैंट मॉर्निंग में 5 बजे खुल जाएगी. और उसी तरह सेम चीज ढाका से 17 बजे खुलेगी और न्यू जलपाईगुड़ी 5 बजे सुबह पहुंच जाएगी. न्यू जलपाईगुड़ी में ये मंडे, वेडनेसडे, फ्राइडे होगी, जहां ढाका में ये ट्यूसडे, थर्सडे, सैटरडे होगी. थैंक यू.
The Financial Action Task Force FATF is set to decide today whether or not Pakistan has made considerable efforts to counter terror financing and take a call on whether the country will continue to remain in the grey list. It is highly unlikely that Islamabad will get a breather as European nations believe the country has not fully implemented the points in the plan of action laid down by the watchdog. According to media reports, certain European nations, including FATF host France, have recommended that Pakistan continue to be kept in the grey list. More from our correspondent.
The FATF is an intergovernmental body set up in 1989 to combat money laundering, terror financing and other related threats to the international financial system. Currently, it has 39 members. Pakistan has been on the grey list since June 2018. In its plenary held in October last year, the FATF had kept Pakistan on the grey list, citing its failure to fulfill 6 out of 27 obligations of the Global Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Watchdog. If Pakistan continues with the grey list or is put up in the dark grey list, it will be very difficult for the country to get financial aid from International Monetary Fund, the World Bank and the European Union, making its financial conditions more precarious. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
India and Pakistan today reviewed the situation along the line of control and all other sectors in a free, frank and cordial atmosphere. Defence Ministry said the Director Generals of Military Operations of both the countries held discussions over the established mechanism of hotline contact in the interest of achieving mutually beneficial and sustainable peace along the borders. The two sides agreed to address each other's core issues and concerns which have propensity to disturb peace and lead to violence. India and Pakistan have also agreed for strict observance of all agreements, understandings and cease firing along the line of control and all other sectors.
The Srinagar-Leh National Highway will be reopened for civilian traffic from Sunday. Despite heavy snowfall this year on the Zojila Pass, the highway will be thrown open for traffic in a record time of 2 months only. The highway was closed for traffic on December 31st last year. The announcement about reopening the highway was made by the Divisional Commissioner Kashmir, P.K. Paul, during a meeting held in Srinagar to review the status of Srinagar-Sonmarg-Gumri Road. For the time being, only one-way traffic will be allowed to ply on the highway. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has named Brisbane in Australia as the preferred bidder to host the 2032 Olympic Games. The IOC's Future Host Commission recommended that the body enters targeted dialogue with Brisbane bid organisers and the Australian Olympic Committee. The state of Queensland had hosted the 2018 Commonwealth Games and Brisbane was praised for its high percentage of existing venues a good master plan, experience in organizing major events, and its favorable weather.
International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has said that weightlifting could be removed from the Olympic program by 2024 if the International Weightlifting Federation (IWF) fails to implement reforms in the fight against doping. In cricket, India will resume the innings at the overnight score of 99 for 3 against England in the third test at Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad today. Rohit and Ajinkya Rahane were at the crease when the stumps were drawn yesterday. India are trailing by 13 runs. Earlier, England were all out for 112 against India in their first innings. For India, Akshar took 6 wickets and Ashwin bagged 3, whereas Ishant Sharma took 1.
Back home, great enthusiasm is being witnessed in Chhattisgarh for the Indian Toy Fair being organized for the first time in the country. The fair will be held on a virtual platform from 27th of February to 2nd of March. A trader of Raipur, Pavan Kumar Manchani, has registered himself for this fair. He says that this effort of the central government is commendable as it will give a boost to country's toy industry and play an important role in realizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dream of making India self-reliant.
मैं पवन मंशानी रायपुर से बोल रहा हूँ। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो मेक इन इंडिया का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया है वो बहुत ही शानदार है। एक ट्रेडर होने के नाते चाहता हूँ कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा भारतीय खिलौने अच्छी गुणवत्ता के यहाँ मैन्युफैक्चरर लोग बनाएं, जिससे हम आत्मनिर्भर हो जाएं। ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग इस मुहिम से जुड़ें, जिससे हम भारतीय खिलौनों को बेचें और विदेशों में भी सप्लाई कर सकें। सरकार का ये कदम बहुत ही स्वागतपूर्ण है।
The first of its kind Indian Toy Fair aims to bring together all the stakeholders of the Indian toy industry on one platform.
ग्लोबल टॉय इंडस्ट्री 7 लाख करोड़ रुपए से भी अधिक की है। Team up for toys.
The Government of India is organizing India's first ever, the India Toy Fair. Indian local toy manufacturers march forward for Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's time to get vocal for your remarkable local. From 27th February to 2nd March, must come forward to get registered online at www.theindiatoyfair.in.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi witnessed moderate fog. Mumbai is having clear sky with temperature varying between 30 and 34 degrees Celsius. Chennai is witnessing partly cloudy sky. The temperature will be fluctuating between 22 and 33 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, the sky is cloudy. Jammu is having partly cloudy sky. Srinagar is witnessing cloudy sky with rain. Minimum temperature was around 7 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 15 degrees. Leh is seeing cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was -5 degrees Celsius, while the maximum may be around 6 degrees Celsius. Gilgit is witnessing generally cloudy sky with light rain. Muzaffarabad is having generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Dehradun, sky is cloudy. The city is experiencing temperature between 14 to 30 degrees Celsius. Chandigarh is having clear sky. In Hyderabad, the temperature will be hovering between 19 and 35 degrees Celsius. Ahmedabad is having clear sky with temperature between 19 and 35 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils a series of development projects in Puducherry. Lays foundation stone of 56 kilometers long, 4-laning of NH45A. A slew of development works will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister in Tamil Nadu this evening. Union Home Minister Amit Shah says Assam and Northeast will be the biggest GDP contributor in coming days. Government announces new guidelines for social media platforms, says spread of fake news must be curbed. Centre deputes high-level multidisciplinary teams in 7 states to look for the reason behind the spike in COVID-19 cases. Director Generals of Military Operations of India and Pakistan review the situation along the line of control. 2 sides agree to abide with all agreements, understandings and cease firing along the LOC and all other sectors. Terror financing watchdog FATF to take a call on Pakistan's grey list status today. Siliguri-Dhaka train service to start on Independence Day of Bangladesh. Delhi government decides not to hold offline exams up to class 8 students. International Olympic Committee names Australia as the preferred bidder to host the 2032 Olympic Games. And in cricket, India to resume their innings at overnight score of 99 for 3 against England at Ahmedabad Test today. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.